And we are live. Welcome to the Redbird Redzone podcast. My name is Will. You can find me on Twitter at LiveOnThatSwing. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
You could go first.
All right. Hey, everybody. This is Kairi091. You can find me on Twitter at Kairi091, or more importantly, on YouTube, also Kairi091. Also on Reddit, but mostly YouTube, which was down for a while today, but it's up again. That's good.
You can find me on Twitter at BirdGame509. Name is Johnny.
Anyway, we're doing a double feature this week since we couldn't do an episode for the Cardinals-Niners game. We had a busy week last week, and to compensate, we're going to do a twofer, and we brought in a guest host. So all's well.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to hanging out with for those of you who don't know, I sort of made this guy. I created this guy. All right. So if you enjoy his work, I guess what I'm saying is you're welcome.
All right. If you say so. All right.
Not true. That's not true. I didn't make it.
All right. So let's talk about the Niners game first. Their first drive in the game, they just basically ran all over us on defense, and they had some really creative play calling right there. I mean, Matt Breida just absolutely demolished us because we didn't have a run defense at that point. And eventually they just shoveled it out to Breida for a touchdown, and they failed on the extra point, which is that's usually our thing. So that's good that happened. But after that, and we just threw a long ball to Kirk, right? And it's just the most beautiful pass I've ever seen. It's like something you'd see out of like Madden or something,
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's like I don't think that's something that McCoy would have called. I think that's more of a Rosen choice. So I praise Rosen for that. We got a touchdown off of that. It was 75 yards, and it was like a third of his actual yards because he didn't do a lot that day. After that, Trey Boston picked off a tip pass, and the offense couldn't really get anything started. And Beathard looked really rough during this game. He didn't perform well for what it's worth. We for what it's worth, we actually have a pretty solid passing defense. We've only allowed 7 touchdowns through the air in 6 weeks, and that's honestly pretty impressive. But that's also because teams can run all over us, and they do that.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that because like the pass defense looks good, but I mean probably because teams are just running all over us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude. That's definitely. And you know what? And the thing is that numbers can be tricky like that, can't they? So yeah, we have a great pass defense, and that's cool. And honestly, I mean, I want to get ahead of it here, but that it showed last week too, or it showed this most recent game against the Vikings, which I'm sure we'll get to. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, man, the other teams are running all over us, and when they need to make the big pass play, they find a way to do it. You know what I mean?
I mean, fuck, man. I mean, Mike Davis ran all over us and against us in the Seahawks game. Mike Davis, he hasn't done shit since his USC days. Yet suddenly he's got 100+ yards and 1 or 2 TDs. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. We make bad running backs look good.
I hate that about us, dude. Do you remember? If you remember correctly, it was us that Todd Gurley had his breakout. Todd Gurley had been looking like a disappointment until his first game against us, and then all of a sudden he ran all over us. And I mean, this is a couple teams ago, so this isn't even present day current Cardinals. It's just always been our thing.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Why do the Rams give us so much trouble? Even in the years they're not good, they always give us trouble.
Divisional rivalries are like that. Honestly, it seems like divisional rivalries are always tricky because I remember when we were really, really good, every time we'd play the Niners and they'd be shitty, and I'd be like, oh my God, this is it. This is going to be where we get exposed or whatever. And we'd end up losing or even almost losing to a terrible Niners team at a time when we were on path to make the playoffs and stuff. It was divisional rivalries do that to you. And this game, honestly, this game against San Francisco was no exception because let's not kid ourselves here. Neither of these teams, the Cardinals and the Niners, neither one is a particularly good team. You know what I mean? Neither one of these are playoff teams. And we contended against each other in a somewhat sloppy game. But they're throughout the entire game, you could really see it going either way, and that's divisional rivalries for you. That's how they go.
It was the ugliest 2 possession win I've ever seen.
Oh,
That box score is a dirty liar. Then all of those points were garbage. What would have been garbage time points.
It was pretty hard to watch at times for sure.
Yeah, but we should probably get into the second quarter. Rosen looked a bit off in the first quarter, and that seemed to be a trend going into the second half, and throughout the season mainly. I mean, Rosen, don't get me wrong, he's a great quarterback, but Mike McCoy's system is not right for him. I mean, he needs I think he needs a more quarterback-minded approach, and I think Byron Leftwich would be a good promotion for that. What do you guys think?
Johnny?
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. Probably because McCoy, it'll be interesting to see if Mike McCoy gets fired in the next game against the team that fired him last year.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
The Broncos, they're saying Wilkes made a point to say that if we lose that one, there are probably jobs on the line. And the way he says that makes me think, oh, he's trying to say somebody's going to get traded if you guys fuck up. But the way I take that obviously is McCoy's ass is grass if he fucks this up.
Well, let's not kid ourselves here. In the NFL, everybody is fireable. You know what I'm saying? So usually you don't hear a coach, and I actually like that Wilkes came out and said that, because usually coaches will always be like, you remember the biggest gripe that all of us had with Bruce Arians was his consistent defense of Amos Jones throughout. When we all knew, everyone knew that this guy needed to go, and Bruce Arians kept defending him. Oh, well, it's not the coach's fault. The players aren't playing. It's the coaches aren't responsible for punting or kicking or returning or blocking. That's a player's job. And he kept defending his coach, and we could all see it from our TV sets. We could see it, and it was actually refreshing for Wilkes to come out and say, no, you know what, man? If things keep going this way, there's going to be heads on the chopping block. That's just I like that. I'm glad that he went public on that. Now the only question is he going to make good on that? If we look like trash against Denver, is he actually going to come out and publicly send someone packing, whether it's a coach, a player, somebody? Is somebody going to lose their spot?
Here's the thing. I don't think he will. I don't think he's got the guts to do it. I don't think he's got the right mindset for it. I don't think he's going to do it.
Let's celebrate.
Wilkes, you don't think Wilkes has it?
No, I don't think he's going to do it. I think it's
me neither.
What do you think, Johnny? Do you think that Wilkes has the courage, the clout to come forward and just straight up put Mike McCoy's head on the chopping block if we play like trash on Thursday?
I mean, if he had the balls to do it by now, he would have done it. Because we've been how much worse can we get?
To see.
we're over a quarter way through the season, and yet we haven't our offense is one of the worst in the league. Thankfully, we've gotten a little bit out of the gutter, and somehow we're not the worst offense in the league anymore.
It blows my mind that we're not the worst. I don't know how that happened.
No, hold up. I'm gonna search who is.
But you know what? Rosen, I like the way that he's looking, and I think okay. Coming into the season, my take was I did not want to see Josh Rosen play this year. I wanted him to ride the bench the entire season. I would rather have seen Mike Glennon before Josh Rosen when we came into this season, because I feel like too often these days we rush rookies into a starter job when they're not ready for it. Even a good rookie probably should spend a season on the bench before they get into it. Someone like Aaron Rodgers, But I've come around on it. I've seen Rosen play. I see what he's capable of, and his attitude is phenomenal. Just the way that he carries himself is just tip top. So I think that starting Rosen probably was the right call, even though he's so green, he's so young, and so inexperienced. But I think bringing him in was the right call.
Yeah, I think the thing that I judged on mentality wise was the reaction to turnovers in the Bears game, right? Josh Rosen throws what looks like it's going to be a game-ending interception at the end. He looks like he just shrugs it off. Like you can just tell by the look on his face that it doesn't affect him.
Yes, that I saw that too, and it wasn't a shrugs it off in like fuck it kind of way. It was more of a shrugs it off in like a it happens. We'll do better on the next one. You know what I mean?
And Sam Bradford, like when he goes down with the fumble, he looks like he's having a Hello Darkness moment. You know?
Exactly. You can see it on his face. Oh man, I'm so glad I'm not the only one that caught that. No, that was that's exactly the way that I saw both of those go. I saw Bradford looking defeated, dejected, like he was done, and I saw Rosen just kind of like brush it off his shoulder, like, yeah, that sucked, but we'll do better on the next one, you know.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I think Bradford, I think he's just like broken at this point. I mean, like, I'm getting some major David Carr vibes from him, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, well, I mean, honestly, can you blame the guy for being broken at this point in his career? What I mean? Like, how many teams has he gone through? He started for 4 different teams on week 1 in the last 4 years, and he hasn't gone anywhere with any of them. I can see why he'd be broken at this point in his career. Brad, and I said when we brought him in, I said this is the last stop on this guy's journey. If he doesn't come to Arizona and light it up, that's it. But I don't know, that was my thought on him, and I guess the book's written on Sam Bradford.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that like, given how like broken the like backup quarterback situation in the NFL is, this guy will probably get a backup job next year.
Bradford?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, but there's nothing wrong with that. Bradford. Any team would love to have him, as their backup, but nobody. I don't think anyone ever makes him a starter unless he's a backup in a place where the starter gets hurt or something like that. But I don't think anybody comes into week 1 with Bradford as their starting quarterback ever again. I think that's done.
How much you want to bet the Browns pick him up?
Well, they're the Browns. Yeah, that's if anyone does, it'd be the Browns. Anyway, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm sorry. I have a tendency to get these things off.
No, dude, it's great. We haven't gone over 30 minutes in a while. I kind of need.
I'll get you there.
But anyway, we should probably talk about the second quarter now. So Rodney Gunter, who I for years called like a bust, he's actually looking really solid this season. Honestly, he forced a really good fumble. And, Patrick Peterson ran it back to, like, the 19-yard line. It was just a great fucking play. Our pass defense, especially, like, turnover-wise and all that, has actually looked really good this year. Like, we've been causing turnovers left and right. And I'm actually proud of the Cardinals for doing that. I don't know if that's a good.
No, you know what? It's about making plays. One thing that Ken Wisenhunt said during his time here, and I'll never forget this, man. He said that the only thing that you can do as an individual player is when the opportunity is there, make the play. That whichever you have the chance to force that fumble, or to go for a scoop and score, or to get a pick, or even just batting the ball down or making a good open field tackle. Whichever of those two players makes that play is going to be the one that wins that down, whether it's the guy who breaks the tackle or the guy who makes the tackle. So it really is about the individual seeing and making the play when they have the opportunity to do it. So you talk about Rodney Gunter, and you said that you sort of felt like for a while that he wasn't impressing you. And I got to say, I agree, but it wasn't because of Gunter himself. It's because Rodney Gunter has had to share a spotlight on that defensive line with some freaking rock stars. Do you know what I mean? With guys like Marcus Golden and Calais Campbell, names like that. It's very hard to get your time to shine. But I agree. I agree that Gunter looks like he's taking it, and he's contended with the big guys at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like Gunter, like Vincent. I almost said Vincent. Benson Mayowa looks really good too. I'm really surprised we signed him for like as little as we did, because he's actually looking really solid compared to like some of the other guys we picked up over the offseason.
Well, I was worried about the loss to Calais. I mean, anybody who who talks with me regularly on Reddit or any other place knows that I'm a huge Calais Campbell fan, and I still am. I know he doesn't play for us anymore, but I still have a lot of love for Calais. And when he left, I was legit worried that we were not going to, because I mean the things he brought to the table, at that defensive line spot. But I'm feeling a little bit better about it. Deech is starting to do some cool stuff every now and then, and obviously you got Marcus Golden, and oh man, Chandler Jones.
Chandler Jones is like the reason I wait.
Chandler Jones. I mean,
all right. So after that, we capitalized with a DJ touchdown, and I think this game, and I think also the Seattle game also like showed that DJ, if you give him something to do, he'll like light up. He'll light up, And they showed it in I think they showed it in varying spectrums, because it's like this game you give him something to do and he'll break off a few good runs and he'll make your day a little better. But like you give Mike Davis and David Johnson the same amount of touches, but like have a shitty O-line that only lets you run like an inside zone every play. But you give Mike Davis like all of these runs to the outside, so he runs the inside. You give him a Russell Wilson fucking block for a touchdown, he'll light up. Yeah, like the blocking scheme and like the overall play calling on this team is just absolutely pathetic at times. It makes me wish that.
You know what, man, and that right there is what okay. We here in Arizona, the Cardinals fans know what David Johnson can do. And we haven't got to see him do his thing to the extent that we know he's capable because of Mike McCoy, right? You take Mike McCoy out of this equation, and David Johnson would be blown up because Mike McCoy does not know what to do with it, right? Mike McCoy does not know how to handle a David Johnson. For some freaking reason, with all of his knowledge and intellect and football experience, he cannot seem to put DJ to work the way that we know DJ is capable of. And it bugs me because I love David Johnson. And the thing about running backs is even the good ones, even the upper tier running backs, you usually only get 3 or 4 seasons out of them. Emmitt Smiths, Adrian Petersons, those are once in a generation. You don't get guys that play at that level for 12 to 13 years. That's not normal. So David Johnson, honestly, like I don't want to say that his best years are behind him because I don't think that's the case. But I mean, you look at the guy. Do y'all remember Maurice Jones-Drew?
Yeah.
You remember how he was the premier running back in the league for what, a season, 2? You know, and then he just fell off the face of the earth. Jamal Charles, same thing, man. He was tip top. He was the guy to have. He went first in the draft, and in the fantasy drafts every year. It was always Jamal Charles, right? Only for like a season or 2, and then he just dropped off the map because running backs, even the great ones, only get 3 or 4 years. And I don't want to waste a season having Mike McCoy ruining what we got with David Johnson because we don't know if there'll be another season with him.
Yeah.
Well, it feels like we already wasted like a season already because I mean we're basically out of playoff contention, and
that's a good point.
The thing that always gets me is like when people call DJ a bum, it's like, oh, DJ's a bum because he doesn't run up my fantasy score every week. It's like Julio hasn't caught a fucking touchdown this entire season. You gonna call Julio fucking Jones a fucking bum, man? Julio Jones. Are you gonna sorry, off topic. The Falcons have like the worst fucking offensive. Like he's honestly about as bad as Mike McCoy. Like people say the Falcons are losing because they don't play defense. No, I think the offensive coordinator is the main problem there. It's just like a tale of 2 cities, tale of 2 bird gangs.
Yeah, but I can't. I'm not allowed to have sympathy for Matt Ryan. I will not. I took a pledge that do you guys throwback? Do you guys remember the 2008 postseason, the one where we went to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
This game we played in the wild card round. It was us as our meager NFC West champs with a 9-7 record going up against the wild card Falcons with Matt Ryan as a rookie that season. And throughout the game, they kept showing these sob story clips about Matt Ryan, like interviews with his brother who got hurt and couldn't play football anymore. And he's like, and I always told Matty he'd be something great if he just stuck with it. And obviously everyone thought the Falcons were going to beat us. And ever since then, I've had this thing against Matt Ryan where I'm just like, dude, I don't mind the Falcons, but dude, I love to watch you lose now. Like that, it's not his fault. He didn't ask the network to do it, right? I can't blame him for that. But Man, that bugged me because they still had us pegged as losers, and we went out there and won. We didn't kick their asses, but we won.
Yeah.
Sorry to bring up shit from like 12 years ago, but it's just or 11 years, whatever it was.
Sound like you're tearing up for no real reason.
Because I freaking hate that son of a bitch, dude. Like, I really, there are only a few players in the NFL that I truly love to watch them squirm, right? And like Matt Ryan's one of them. Dude, Cam Newton's another one. Do not like Cam Newton.
28-3. So 28-3 was cathartic to you. The Super Bowl a few years ago.
Yeah, I bet you enjoyed that Super Bowl.
Yes, absolutely.
Oof. All right. So after that, Larry got his first catch of the game, and Larry hasn't. I know. I'm not sure if this is like Larry dropping off, but like he's not been good this year. He's been dropping like very easy passes. He's not been doing as much this year, and that sort of scares me because he's usually the best guy on our offense.
Yeah, but he's 106 years old, dude.
Yeah. I think this might be his year, man. Like we always worry about it. But I don't know, man. This seems like
let me ask you guys both this question. I didn't mean to be hijacking your show, but this is a question I want to direct to you guys because I want your opinions on it as fellow Cardinal fans. And before I answer, I want to hear what you guys have to say. If Larry went to the front office of the Cardinals organization and said, "You guys, I really want to finish with a championship. Will you put me someplace where I might get one?" Johnny, how would that make you feel?
I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised or I wouldn't be mad at all because I mean he could have demanded a trade like a long time ago, 2010, probably 2011, to try to get out of this team because how bad they were. So for me, I wouldn't be upset with it, but it'll be sad, like I guess seeing a legend go like that.
I don't know. I don't know, man. It's like seeing like Gretzky get traded or something like that. It feels like something of a betrayal, but like I'll understand it through and through. If he wants to go to like Green Bay, anywhere but New England, you know. If he comes to the front office and says, "Hey, bring me to Boston. I want to have some fucking beans right now," I'd hate his ass like crazy.
If he'd be reunited with Michael Floyd.
Yeah. No, wait, is Floyd even a Patriot now? I thought he got cut.
No, he's not anymore, but
not anymore. You know what? I'm gonna agree with Johnny. That's how I feel too. Like Larry has done so much for not just our football team, but our whole community, like the city of Phoenix, the state of Arizona. We owe so much to him. If he decided to go chase that ring that he honestly deserves and go get it somewhere else, because you know that the ring wouldn't like, yeah, he'd get it and it would mean a lot to him personally, but the team that he won it with, it probably wouldn't mean as much, you know, if he were to get it with us here, obviously. But, you know, it's sort of like Steve Nash going to LA or Karl Malone, you know, leaving Utah to go to LA when he did. Like, you understand it. You get why they do it. You know, it doesn't make it easy to see it, but you understand it. And Larry deserves a ring. I hope he's not going to get one here. We don't. There's not enough time. We're not doing it this season. And will he even play another season? I don't know.
The year is 2021. Larry Fitzgerald is nearing retirement. He asked for a one-day contract. It is Super Bowl 50-something, whatever. The Cardinals are in it. He comes into the game. And then in the final seconds, Josh Rosen beams a 50-yard touchdown to Larry Fitzgerald to win the game.
The only way this story works for me is if Kurt Warner throws it to Fitz. I know he'll be 61 by then. I don't care. All right. This is the only way the story works for me is if old man Kurt Warner puts his walker away and fucking gets out his takes the oxygen tubes out of his nose from his emphysema. And goes out there and throws one to Fitz.
What if Kurt became our new OC? I know that's like dumb.
That's such a crazy fanboy thing to say, but I'd love it. I mean, I know it's not a thing that actually happens, but I'd love it.
Max Hall's making a good coaching career.
I heard Max Hall went crazy and did a bunch of drugs.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
painkillers because he played for the Cardinals.
Yeah. Oh shit, dude. Yeah. Honestly, bro. Max Hall deserves the drugs. Let get. You know what? Get that man some heroin.
Oof. Oh Lord. Wow, we've
Honestly,
got a
what's usually after the second quarter? Do they play another quarter after that at all?
no. But we couldn't get down the field end quarter, whatever. Halftime it was 14-6. We were winning. Start the third. We had a Chandler strip sack and recovery, and later on, Ricky almost caught a touchdown at that.
Oh
But
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, dude. I actually very clearly remember that play because I was on my feet for that one. That's the thing about these is that when they got Rosen out there, it actually got me energized. It put me on my feet. I didn't get amped for a single down when Bradford was playing, and even when we got the occasional good play, I never jumped up and freaked out unless it was on defense, like a pick or whatever. But yeah, I remember that play.
yeah, like the first 3 weeks of this team.
He's not awful. He's not terrible.
Yeah, the thing with this team right now is that the first 3 weeks we were basically a walking corpse. We had nothing to show. We had no enthusiasm. There was no energy on the field. And now it's like there's some energy, but we're just missing that spark because Mike McCoy's there, and he's our roadblock.
But are we being okay? But are we being unfair to Mike McCoy? I mean, honestly, okay. But last year it was Amos, right? Wasn't it? Last year, all of our
it was the year prior that was Amos. We lost 3 games because of Amos the year prior. Or year prior.
Yeah. I understand. I'm just saying, at a certain point, do you need? And I'm asking this honestly, y'all's opinion. At a certain point, do the coaches need to, tell the players, hey, you guys have to execute this. Like we will give you the plays drawn up and we'll call the play. But if you don't do it, nothing matters.
But if the play calls are shit, Mike McCoy's doing, then why bother?
I agree with you. I'm just trying to play some devil's advocate here because, I have tremendous faith in Steve Keim, and Steve Keim has tremendous faith in Mike McCoy. Do you see what I'm saying? Like if you trust Steve Keim's judgment, you have to trust that Mike McCoy is the right guy for the job, don't you?
I initially trusted Steve Keim, but then he entrusted the top position of his football team to somebody he met at the beach.
Wait, what'd he do?
He compare the other Cardinals coaches we picked up, right? Just 21st century. Denny Green comes off several playoff run Vikings teams.
That's right. Yeah,
astounding coach who worked well with Randy Moss, Chris Carter, and Randall Cunningham.
Sure.
After that doesn't work out, we pick up Ken Wisenhunt, who has pedigree with the Steelers during their Super Run, and was a outstanding defensive coordinator. Turns our defense into an absolute wrecking crew with Darnell Dockett, Cromartie, all of those people. And then we pick up Arians, who has had great seasons with the Steelers as well, but also had a outstanding season as an interim coach for the Colts. All of those people have pedigree. You want to know where Wilkes coached prior to this as a head coach?
No.
High school or something?
State, 1999. He was 5-6.
But he was 5-6. But first-year head coaches have to start somewhere. I mean, don't forget, at one point, Bill Belichick was a first-year head coach. You know what I mean? At one point or another, every coach, Bill Parcells, why are they all named Bill? Why are they all named Bill Walsh, Bill Belichick? Come on, give me a legendary coach that isn't named Bill. Chuck Noll? I don't know. Bill Cowher. See what I'm saying? They're all named Bill. Jesus Christ.
But even then, he'd only at that point he'd only had 2 years as even a defensive coordinator. Actually, hold up. No, that doesn't even count.
And by that token, if you remember, Arians' only time as a head coach was for like a couple seasons at Temple, like in the 80s, and then he was like a perennial assistant and coordinator for like 20 years.
But of course, but he strived at that. He got better as a coach going on. Like,
I mean, Arians is a really hard thing to compare because he was such a unique coach. The way that he did things, honestly, like for whether you loved him or you hate him, you got to admit he was unique. He was the only guy who coached the way that he did. Like just his demeanor and his attitude was just one of a kind.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, alternate future here. Looking at the Wikipedia, Wilkes interviewed with the Giants, who had hired his former boss in Carolina, Gettleman. How crazy would it be if we had the Giants had him right now, and we had Shermer? How different do you think?
Interesting. I would be intrigued by living in that timeline. That'd be a compelling story.
Yeah, I actually wanted an offensive minded head coach. Like when we were after Arians announced his retirement, I was thinking, hey, we should get an offensive minded coach because that's the trend nowadays.
The hottest take I heard when Arians retired is that we needed a fucking special teams coordinator as a head coach. I was like, what the fuck?
I'm glad we didn't do that.
Yeah, this isn't much better, but that's definitely better than that.
What happened next in that game we were just talking about like 10 minutes ago?
Okay. Hold up. Nothing much happened in the third and quarter. Start of the fourth, they missed a 45-yard field goal somehow. But then they start a few drives later. They start to drive and they get a first and goal. We held them for 3 downs and they scored on a 4th and goal. And Chandler tipped the pass on the 2-point conversion. It was a really good play, and it was 14-12 Cardinals. And I remember I was listening to the radio when that play was happening, and I was so anxious. I actually I was listening to TuneIn, right? Because that's always 30 seconds behind. I was listening to it on my phone.
Yeah.
I was out on a walk, and it's I get notifications on Facebook for the game, and I didn't look at the notification. I just made sure to listen. And hearing Wolfley's call on that play was fucking outstanding, man. I wanted to fucking jump for joy. That was great. But after that, with 4.5 minutes left, Reddit forced a fumble on Beathard Beathard, and Bynes picked it up and ran it for a touchdown. Bynes is a really good player, high key. Honest to God, he's impressed me.
I think that was the opposite on that play. I think Reddick forced it.
Yeah.
Bynes forced it, and Reddick.
I don't even remember, but Bynes has been impressing me this year. I'm actually glad we picked him up. What do you think, Kairi?
I haven't. I don't have much of an opinion on Bynes. I've seen him a bit this season, but I haven't heard his number called enough to have made any notes on him yet. I've seen him out there a couple of times, and I haven't disliked him, but again, it's a difficult place to shine when you have Dayon and Reddick playing out there at the linebacker with you. But no, but Bynes hasn't been bad. I haven't at any point written a note that said, "Boy, this guy's terrible."
Yeah, so, fair enough.
That's something. Our secondary has done some cool stuff. I feel like our secondary has honestly I've been really impressed with our safeties, man. We've been doing it up to safety, man.
Honest to God, prodigy. I'm really glad we got him in the draft.
Buda Baker?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, Buda Baker. And how about that Boston guy? I didn't even know who the hell he was.
He's a beast.
Now I know who he is.
He was great in Carolina. I'll tell you that. I remember Panthers fans a few years ago really liked him.
And of course, you got old man Antoine Bethea.
Yeah. But what else? 4 minutes left. Ben Wickery intercepted the ball, and we ran it in with David again. And that basically sealed the game. Niners drove down the field. They got a QB sneak, but it was basically over by that point. They tried for the 2-point conversion in that cutesy little way, they're trying,
Yeah.
And
they have to. You have to. And even as a coach, not only are you trying because you might win, but it's also a great chance for your team to practice that 2-point conversion for when you do need it. You know what I mean? Because when else do you get a chance to practice a 2-point conversion in a game time scenario against real players? Usually, if you're practicing it just like during like a drill or whatever, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. They onside kicked it. Ben Wicker got it back. Game over. We won. In the most strange box score I've ever seen. This was by no means a close game, like a blowout.
No.
Like that, this entire game wasn't decided in like the last 6 minutes of this game. It's like one of those challenges in Madden where you're like, oh, you have to score 7 points, but then you go a little overboard and you just run up the score a bit, and it's like,
oh yeah,
yeah, but okay, but here are okay. So obviously we all know the final 28-18 Cardinals, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what the time of possession was on that game?
What?
The Cardinals had the ball for 19 minutes 48 seconds. The Niner had it for 40 minutes 12 seconds.
Jesus.
It was 2-1. They outpossessed us 2-1, and we still won by 10 points. Now, when you see that, that's how you know it was a defensive victory. That's how you know that it was your D that won you the game, because you hardly had the damn ball, and you still won by 2 scores.
Yeah.
So that's a dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. But having said, and also even on first downs, obviously because the Niners had the ball weight a whole lot more. They had 33 first downs to our 10. We only had 10 first downs. I mean, in a game that we won by 2 scores, 10 first downs. See what I'm saying? Like, this is pretty clearly a turnover battle. The turnover differential, of course, 5-0. They lost the ball 5 times, and we lost the ball 0 times. Now, you can't win a football game with 5 giveaways. But when you're +5 in the turnover call, you cannot win. So, to say that we won it, this might be one of those times when it's easier, safer to say that the Niners lost it. But I hate saying that because it's the 2 teams took the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. But some essential stats. Rosen was 10 for 25, threw for 170 yards and 1 touchdown. And like a third of those yards came on that first play. That first play from scrimmage.
The one.
Oh my god.
That one, dude. That was a good one.
What do you think? Is Christian Kirk the new Larry, or the new Anquan?
He's not Larry. I'll give you Anquan. I won't. There will not be another Larry legend.
This is true.
But is Christian Kirk now? Are you asking me? Is Christian Kirk the new number 1? And the answer to that is probably yes. I don't see who else it's going to be. If Christian Kirk is not, let me put it this way: if Christian Kirk is not the new number 1 on our receiving core, then the new number 1 is not currently on our roster.
My God, that's J.J. Nelson's music.
Yeah. You know what? I honestly thought Smokey was going to be, and that didn't pan out.
Yeah.
JJ is fast, but he drops a lot. Dude, it's got to be Kirk, right? Kirk has got to be the new number 1. And if Kirk is not the number, see what I think they need to do. What I think that if Larry leaves, if Larry retires, and God, I hope he doesn't, or if he leaves the Cardinals, I think you have to bring in another veteran wideout. You got to go out and trade or pick up another veteran wide receiver to fill his role for now. I don't think Kirk is ready to be the guaranteed target on every other down. You know what I mean?
How crazy would it be if we actually got Josh Gordon?
I'd be okay with that.
Like old white people in Arizona would like crap themselves to death.
Hey, as an old white man in Arizona, I already have my box of Depends. I am ready.
Oh my God.
I am ready to do this.
All right.
What are overall, just in general this season, guys? What are your thoughts on the O-line?
Horrible.
The O-line.
It's horrible. It is horrible. It's so bad.
It's so bad.
It's so bad. You know what? You never know how much you miss AQ Shipley until he's on IR. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Somebody called the Bruce Arians era Cardinals a charity for forgotten Drews, because we had Drew Butler and we had Drew Stanton. And so we're the charity for people named Mike now. Mike Iapati, Mike McCoy, Mike Glennon.
We got more mics. There gotta be other mics. I don't know.
Are there other mics?
I'll get back to you. I don't know. There should be.
I'm gonna search because I'm bored. I'm very bored. The first shot that comes up when you search Christian Kirk is his mic shot. Oh no.
Oh no. Honestly, dude, and that's the other thing that you can't put on Mike McCoy is that our O-line is bad. So when you wonder why DJ looks ineffective, it might be on account of the fact that he has no protection.
Yeah.
I think I saw a stat on that.
Is that McCoy's fault? Is it Mike McCoy's fault that these guys can't pick up a freaking D lineman? You know? You know what I'm saying? Like that isn't Mike McCoy. He told them it's in the scheme. They're supposed to do it. They don't. You know what I mean? So we end up with DJ getting stuffed. Is that McCoy's fault? Do you see what I mean? Like that would be the coach's answer to it. Like, yeah, we told them pick up the freaking defenders. They didn't pick them up. Guy gets stuffed. What'd you think was going to happen?
I mean, honestly, hot take. Like hot take.
Hit me.
I don't know if we can really. This is a dumb hot take. I don't know if we can really like blame the O-line for all of our problems because like look at what Barkley's doing. Like Barkley is just absolutely blowing shit out of the water with the New York Giants, and their line is one of the worst lines I've ever seen. Like just everything collapses around him, but like Saquon Barkley's such a great back that he just works with it. And
That's true.
And like David Johnson's functioned well with really shitty lines before. I don't know. I think it's more what the coach is giving him than just the O-line in general. What do you think of that take?
I just feel like it's a bit of both. Like on the offense, why like it's not looking good so far. It has to do with both the O-line not doing their job and McCoy not calling like good plays.
Yeah. What about you, Kairi?
But what I think is that Buda Baker had a scoop and score against Minnesota last week.
This is
That's what I think. I think that wasn't it Chandler that knocked the ball free.
Yeah.
You know what Chandler Jones reminds me of a lot. He reminds me of Carlos Dansby because he always seems to be there. Like whenever shit's going down, you're always going to hear Chandler's number call, whether it's a sack, a batted ball, a forced fumble, whatever. His number always seems to get called whenever something crazy happens. Like it was the same thing with Los, man. It was the same deal with Dansby. So I don't know, man. I am so glad we got Chandler Jones, and I can't wait to see how much money we have to pay him to stick around as soon as it's time to start paying him again.
My dad had the worst homer opinion ever about like Carlos Dansby. He thought that like Carlos Dansby was better than Urlacher, and that Carlos Dansby, if he weren't a journeyman, he'd be in the Hall of Fame. And I think that's just some homer bullshit talk.
That's some homer bullshit right there. Carlos Dansby is not a Hall of Famer. Carlos Dansby is elite at his position, but being a Hall of Famer doesn't necessarily. It's not all about your play. There's more to it than that. So I wouldn't agree that Los would be in the Hall of Fame. Although I think that if Los hadn't left Arizona, I would say that he would belong in our like ring of honor or whatever, like our players, right?
Yeah.
If he hadn't left, but he did. He left twice, right?
Yeah,
So,
he did.
So Los does not belong in our ring of honor. Solid player, you know what I mean? Excellent, but that's about all that I'm going to give the guy.
I had an off-color joke I wanted to make, but I decided not to make it.
Probably for the best. This is a family show.
Yeah. Ugh. A family show that calls Mike McCoy repeatedly. I called Chandler Jones Chandler Bones earlier. Are we sure this is still a family show?
I think that's what to say. Kids won't get that joke. The Vikings game was, interestingly enough, a little bit more evenly matched time of possession-wise, 25 minutes to 35 minutes. I favor the Vikings. which obviously the scoreboard sort of tells that story because we ended up losing 27-17. But then when you get into like the actual like box score and you look at some of the stats, and we were just outplayed in so many different ways. When with especially on the ground, and I mean it's just that run defense. They were just running all over us, but that's sort of been the story, right? Like, who's surprised?
Looking at the box score for both the Vikings game and the Niners game, it's just like there's such similar box scores. Neither of them tell the full story of the game.
But Latavius Murray averaged 6.5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
How do you let a running back with 25 carries, mind you? We're not talking a guy who ran the ball 2 or 3 times. This was their go-to throughout the game, and he burned us 6.5 yards every time he put his hands on the ball. That's a recipe for disaster. You can't even look. If you're giving up 4 per carry, you're in trouble. You're giving up 6.5, you're toast. Like, honestly, man, like it could have been so much worse than 27-17. A few things broke our way. There was a couple of ticky-tack calls that I don't like when we win those, but we did. A couple of them that I saw by the refs where you're just like, God damn, dude, not like this. But a few things broke our way. But when it comes down to it, man, like Buda Baker had a dynamite game, did he not? I mean, he had a freaking touchdown. Not to mention, he did some open fields tackles. He did some tackles where you were like, man, I honestly thought that dude was going to get away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? When you see some dude running, making his way back there into the secondary, and it's a one-on-one. The freaking defensive back against whoever has the ball, and it's one-on-one, and you're thinking, God damn it, there's no way he's going to get him down. And then he got him, and Buda Baker would get him, and you're like, wow, that's pretty impressive tackling right there. So I'll just have you guys know that I'm looking at the stat sheet right now, and Larry Fitzgerald has a tackle. So.
Oh my God.
Larry Fitzgerald had to tackle someone.
Kairi, I need your advice. Should I pick up Philip Lindsay since our run defense is that bad? We could probably lose to a white guy.
Start both Bronco running backs.
There you go. Put one in your flex. I don't know, man. I would, if I was playing serious for money fantasy football, I would start whoever's playing against us at running back. Honestly, like right now, like if I'm being totally honest, I wouldn't have, if I had him on my team, I'd start him. I wouldn't go get him, but if I had him, I'd start him.
I'm getting him because I've got Tyler Lockett and he's on a bye week.
Well, do your thing, pal. Isn't that conflicting though? When you know what? In years past, when I haven't played fantasy football in about 2 seasons, but in years past, I would always pick up Fitz first overall, and everyone thought I was crazy, and it always worked out well for me. And I would always try to get the Cardinals defense.
Yeah.
That's just because I'm a homer. That's the only reason why. It's not because I thought they'd be the best out there. It's because I'm a homer, so I'd go for the Cardinals defense.
There was a guy in our draft. He's 0-6 right now, mind you, who had the worst homer picks I've ever seen. The first pick he had was it actually made. Wait, no, that's the wrong guy. Hold up. First pick he chose was Aaron Rodgers. Then he chose Fournette, right? Guess who he chooses in the 3rd round?
Tell me.
He chooses Josh motherfucking Rosen.
Oh boy.
3rd round. 5th round he picks up Jordan Matthews.
Wait a second. This is obviously a preseason draft because it's a fantasy football. And he uses a 3rd round pick on a guy who's probably not starting this year, Josh Rosen. At that time, we did not know Josh Rosen would be playing.
This was before, even before the any games had been played, not even preseason games.
That's this man's a homer.
Yeah. I guess he mistook that Larry Fitzgerald was off the board, and he chose Larry Rose III as his 4th round pick. That's one of the Rams preseason backs, and he picked him up with his 4th round pick.
Hey, can we run through the slate of games real quick and get some quick picks? But before I get off this show.
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'm gonna announce them, and then we're gonna go around the horn and see who's gonna win. By the way, listeners, it's probably time to get your notebooks out and call your bookies because you're going to bet on these and you're going to win. You're welcome. We'll start with the only Sunday morning game we got, which is going to be I think is that a London game?
Yeah.
Yeah, the London game here. I love those London games only because I get football here where I live. It starts at like 6 in the morning, and I get football all day Sunday from 6 a.m. until freaking 10 p.m. when I go to bed. There's live football on TV. Titans at Chargers in London. Johnny.
Chargers.
All right, so I'm gonna preface this and say they really keep fucking the fans in London over with these shitty ass games.
The Jags and shit, dude, go on.
Okay, yeah, Chargers. I mean, it's not really. The Titans have like the most mediocre team I've ever seen. Like,
isn't that their way? I will. I'll make it unanimous and say Chargers. Next game, Texans going to America's Dong to take on the Jaguars.
I mean, it's the Jags, man. I mean, I know the Cowboys look good against them, but it's like I think that's once in a blue moon bullshit. I think the Jags got this easy.
Yeah, I'll take the Jags.
Yeah, put me on the Jags. See, man, we're agreeing too much. We better disagree on Panthers going to the city of brotherly love to take on the Eagles.
I'm gay too. Go Philly.
I'll take the Panthers on the road.
I'm going to go with the Eagles on this one. Next, we got the Minnesota Vikings traveling to the Big Apple to take on the New York Jetsons. Johnny.
Vikings.
I'm going to say Vikings. Vikings.
I gotta say Vikings too, honestly, dude. Like, I hate that I keep agreeing with you guys because I want to have some variety in here, but god damn it, you guys are good at this. Patriots going to Chi-Town, taking on the Bears.
Wait, who's playing, you said?
Pat's at Chicago.
Oh, Bears, obviously.
Really?
I'm taking the Pats because the Bears didn't look good against Brock Osweiler.
I'll take the Pats too. Next we got, oh boy, this is going to be a fun game for nobody. Bills going to Indianapolis to play the Colts. Just pick one.
There is no winners. We all suffer.
They don't even tie. They both get a loss.
It's a tie.
It's a tie for loss. I'll go with the Colts just because literally somebody has to win. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Next we got the Browns going to take on the other Florida team, the Buccaneers.
Browns Bucks. I mean, I think the Browns got this in the bag. I mean, the Bucks are just have really bad pass defense. Their offense has been stagnant since. I mean, I know this is like one game,
but they got those badass XFL jerseys.
Oh my god! Yeah. Jameis looked solid against a bad team last week. So I think the Browns defense will be a return to form for Jameis, and Bucks fans will forever be sad.
I'll take the Bucks.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks because betting for the Browns to win is never smart money.
Really? Okay.
The next one is the Lions going to Florida to take on the other Florida team, the Miami Dolphins. Detroit at Miami. Who's got it?
I think Detroit has it. I don't think Miami's really a safe bet anymore. I know they beat Chicago, but they beat them in a very strange game that I don't think can accurately be described as a game.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm taking Detroit off their bye week.
Yeah, I'm taking Detroit too. Unanimous across the board. You guys are making this boring. The New Orleans Saints are going to Baltimore to take on the Ravens.
Upset alert. I'm gonna say Ravens just for the fuck of it.
Just to be that guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Johnny?
I'm taking the Saints.
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints too. We got a little NFC East showdown as the Dallas Cowboys go to our nation's capital to take on the Washington racial slurs. Johnny?
I'll take the Redskins down.
All right.
I think it's the Cowboys. I mean, they looked solid against a really solid Jags defense last week, so I think the Redskins are easy pickings.
I swore I would never pick the Cowboys to win anything, so I'm going with Washington. Next week, oh God, this game. Okay, so my hope is that something terrible happens and both teams lose as the Los Angeles Rams go up to the Bay to take on the god-awful 49ers. It's going to be the Rams, right?
CJ beat hard makes my meat hard. Go Niners.
Well, I want the Niners to win, but I mean, come on, the Rams
They're
probably
not.
win.
They're not gonna. They're not gonna. Next one, a Sunday evening game, primetime. We got the Bengals going to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
I'll take the Bengals upset.
This is it, Chief.
I got to pick the Chiefs. Next, we got the New York Giants on Monday night going to Atlanta to take on Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons. What do you guys think?
You say it's the Giants against Atlanta?
Giants against Atlanta. It's going to be Atlanta. Yeah. What? Okay. I'm picking Atlanta. Johnny?
I'm taking your boy Matt Ryan.
All right. I'm picking Atlanta, but I hope Matt Ryan loses. I hope that somehow the Falcons win, but Matt Ryan loses. I don't know how that's going to work. And finally, the first game that everybody will get to watch, the primetime game, the Thursday night game, Thursday, October 18th at 8:20 p.m. Eastern on Fox, NFL Network, and Amazon Prime Video. The Denver Broncos are coming to Phoenix, Arizona to take on your Arizona Cardinals. Johnny, tell them about it.
I'm going with the Broncos.
God, get the hell off this. You're on the wrong show.
Broncos win 69-0.
69-0. Why 69, you pervert? Johnny, what's the final score, really? If you believe you win, what's the final score?
All right. I want the Broncos to win, so Mike McCoy gets fired. So let's go with low, kind of like a low-scoring game on offense for us. Let's say 17-10.
I think that it's going to be. I think that the Cardinals. Yeah, man, that's a good game for us. I think that the Cardinals are going to win, but I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair all around. I think it's going to be something like 10-7, 13-7, something stupid like that, something really boring.
Okay, actual score I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be like the Raiders game last week. It's going to be an ugly 27-3.
Ugly 27-3 Broncos.
Yes.
Oh, you son of a bitch, man! You guys are bad at being Cardinals fans. All right, hey, that's
homers. We're bad at being homers. That's all you can blame us for.
You are bad at being homers. You guys are more like Flanders. All right, guys, I'm done. I'm out. Love, piece of chicken grease. Good night.
All right, good night, bro.
Have a good night.
Kairi's here 91 on YouTube. Kairi's here 91 on YouTube. Don't miss it. It's good shit.
All right. We have to cover the Vikings game as well because we just now got those notes. Thanks, editor. But first quarter, batted pass. We got a batted pass to start for the defense. We got that on a 4th down, and it was a really good 4th down, I think. After that, the Cards drove to the end zone, but they had to settle for a field goal after a really bad David Johnson stop. I don't know why we went conservative all of a sudden towards the end zone instead of actually going for the touchdown. What do you think about that, Johnny?
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. We should have been more aggressive in that situation.
And after that, Latavius Murray ran the fucking gauntlet on us, and our run D has just been awful this year. But especially so against trashy ass running backs who have no business being this good against us. Fuck, man. Latavius Murray is not put up this many yards against the Cardinals good,
Yeah.
And of course, karma being the way it is. Next drive, the fucking Vikings get the ball after we fumble it with DJ for about in one of the most sad radio calls I've ever heard. I was me and the old man were going around town looking for a sports bar to watch this game out. And we were listening to this, and about the time we were leaving because Buffalo Wild Wings was full. This happens, and it's just absolutely I was half tempted to say, "You want to just go home, just cry." But after that, they recovered and got a field goal. Thank God. We didn't do anything after that. Rosen got sacked on 3rd down. We ended the quarter with the Vikings leading 7-3, or I guess 3-10. That's weird. Second quarter, Trey Boston picked off balance Kirk Cousins, but it was a diving pick, so he couldn't really do much with it. After that, Rosen threw a really great pass to to Ricky Seals, but then to get to the 10-yard line. But after that, the drive just stalls, and we rushed up the middle on 4th down on a really ill-advised play. Like if you're at the 1-yard line on a 4th and goal, shouldn't you be taking the points? Like this is the second quarter, mind you. This isn't like a Wilkes mentality. Sorry, an Arians mentality, no risk it, no biscuit team. This is Steve Wilkes. For it on a 4th and 10 and goal where there's not really enough to gain for it to be an issue. So we missed some of the easiest points we could have gotten all game in that play, which was frustrating. After that, they drove a little. The Vikings drove a little past the 30, and then Chandler had this beautiful fucking strip sacks on Cousins, man. Like, absolutely amazing. Then Buddha ran it in for a touchdown, which was his first. Congratulations, Buddha. Oh, God, it's in my mouth. But after that, we couldn't get anything done, so the Vikings got a field goal to end up the quarter. Quarter ends off 13-10. Could be 13-13 if we had actually tried the fucking field goal. But third quarter, Thielen starts to light it up. He got a touchdown with them. Like Thielen made us his bitch yesterday.
Yeah.
Or sorry, not yesterday, Sunday. But yesterday was it wasn't. Out of it. Oh my God. But Adam Thielen, like keep in mind we've only let up like 7 touchdowns on D, right?
Yeah.
And Thielen, you know, he only got 1 touchdown, mind you, but he still lit us up enough. Like he only had 11 receptions. The longest of those went for 17 yards, but he still had 123 yards. I don't know how he did that. That doesn't feel like a real stat line. But after that, we couldn't. Where was I? We couldn't get anything done. Vikings drove again, and you know, Cousins ran it in for a touchdown. And you know, Cousins. I don't think he's much of a mobile quarterback, is he?
I mean, he's kind of like just like he has decent athletic ability, right? He could like run it for like short yards, but not
like
nothing like special.
But he can run.
Yeah.
Gotcha. After that, we drove for a bit, and Rosen. After that, he threw his first pick as a starter. You know, that's a strange distinction to make, I think. But you know, I feel like we got to make it. You know, this is a team of weird distinctions. After that, we had sort of a back and forth and ended the quarter. Fourth quarter, we had we like threw it to Fitz in deep coverage. And he turned it over on down, so he just couldn't hold on. After that, you know, Marcus Golden had his first sack of the season and forced a 3-and-out. Rosen just kept throwing it to Larry and hit Ricky and DJ for a reception each. DJ ran in for a touchdown, but it was basically over at that point. We couldn't get anything done. We lost the game. Let's talk about that beautiful, beautiful stat line. Rosen was 21 for 31 for 240. Had 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Kirk had 6 receptions, 77 yards, while Fitz only had 5 for 39. Here's a not so fun fact. Larry has never gone 6 games without a touchdown until now, which is fun.
That's the Mike McCoy effect.
What? Yeah,
that's the Mike McCoy effect.
Definitely. Oh my Lord. DJ ran for 18 times for 55 yards, but he should really be getting the ball more than just 18 times.
Yeah, for sure.
He got 2 receptions for 15 yards, but I'm sure more were thrown his way. Like, I hope so. Oof. Defense got 4 sacks, 6 batted passes, 1 TD, 1 touchdown off a fumble recovery. And probably one of the most frustrating sound bites ever. Like shortly after the game, when asked if McCoy's job was in jeopardy, he said that I think all of our jobs, including mine, are in jeopardy if we don't win. And I think I misquoted that earlier on in the podcast. I think I said, "Oh, if we lose the Denver game, we were fucked. But like, no, I think that's just in general. But I think
Yeah.
Khan's too forgiving. I think even if he wants to fire somebody, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah. So that's recap of the Vikings game. After going through that, oh god, that was so quick.
For real.
Oh my lord. I wish Kairi was here. Well, no, I don't. It's 12:05. But anyway, anything you want to add on?
I just want to add on, like, that Viking game. It was a very winnable game, but I guess I'm kind of happy we lost it just so, because since we're not gonna make the playoffs anyway, might as well try to get that high draft pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I look at that, and I think I don't think we're good enough to get the highest draft picks. I think not bad enough to get the highest draft pick. I think the Raiders are probably gonna get that, if not them, maybe
The
the
Bills.
Bills, maybe. I don't know. Miami's been off lately, off enough lately that I think that they might give the Bills an easy win. This is the strangest team I've seen in a while, like the strangest Cardinals team I've seen in a while, because everybody who was bad earlier is good now, and everybody who was good earlier, Larry, is okay now.
Yeah.
Sort of sad to me. And wow, this is a real down note to end the podcast on. Join us next week this upcoming weekend or next week or whenever. It's going to be tricky recording the next episode. When we finally get around to discussing when we get around to discussing the upcoming week's game against the Denver Broncos. My name is Will. This has been the the Redbird Redzone podcast. We are out.